infrastructure for the country, I hope we have the capability of keeping up with the demand, because like you mentioned, the growth of the data centers and significant introduction of AI and the computing power that's going to take is going to be a strain on our overall electrical grid. I don't know how we're going to keep up with it. You just see the amount of these data centers that are going up all over the country, and it's going to be huge. Don't know if we have the right level currently of power plants. My personal opinion, I think the direction we could look at that would improve some of our capability and a nice, fairly clean energy would be the nuclear. Yes, the materials have their challenges. The cleanup or the disposal and waste of those down the road has some challenges as well. But as far as the output and the energy and the amount of energy you get out of it for that nuclear side is one of the better ways I could see us going. I'm not sure if we'll move in that direction. I've heard that we are. Not sure about full-scale power plants, but some of these more mobile or micro-sized nuclear power stations are coming.
Well, I was even thinking
I think that's good.
That they're going to have to, in that regard, I would think that the data centers, and I think we're starting to see some of that, is they're starting to build their own micro-nuclear facilities potentially. Is nuclear fusion and what even is nuclear fusion? Can you give me some sort of context of what nuclear fusion is?
I'm not a physicist, so okay. I'm not going to be able to explain what fusion is. That's a possibility if we could get the technology that's available to keep it where it's sustainable, right? I've heard some of our national labs have done fusion and they've created it for short periods of time with different technology at scale, but something sustainable that we could move to market, that's going to be the challenge there. Even on the nuclear side, getting stuff scaled down where it's more of a localized grid or infrastructure for a set of data centers, that's going to be a challenge too. Just because of all the regulatory requirements, the waste handling, the environmental impacts, water. If you run nuclear, it takes a lot of water for cooling. Those could be some challenges too.
Yeah, you mentioned the environmental hazards of it. I think that's something that to pivot over to this, like I look at battery energized storage systems that are used, and you look at some of the incidences that happen in, let's just say, California. I think it was the BESS system that outside of San Francisco that caught fire. I'm guessing it was based on a thermal runaway. I don't know. But the amount of water it took to extinguish that, because there's no way, and I have to explain this to first responders sometimes, which is it creates its own oxygen. So you can't, the normal agents of extinguishing a fire from a first responder standpoint is not the same thing here. You're trying to contain it as much as you can, hopefully, but it has to ultimately discharge completely before it's going to go out, right? So then you look at the water runoff from that, and then you look at what happens environmentally post that. This is obviously one of the major challenges when we're talking about renewable energy, right? Is the environmental impact of it post incident in that scenario. Is that what you guys are kind of trying to solve for sometimes?
What do you mean by you guys are trying to solve?
I don't know. I think you guys I still put you in the DOE camp, so yeah. I should be careful about that. In rail, I guess maybe some of the labs that are sort of developing technology, because I understand, at least how I view it sometimes, is that the labs are creating new technology opportunities for the marketplace. Is that fair?
Yeah, the 17 national labs, it's all about science. What science can we use for the betterment of the United States? Its spectrum of what that science is huge. And then also part of that is once we discover or patent or develop new technologies, how can we bring that to market? How can we provide the information, that technology to industry that's within the United States to and better the U.S. as a whole. I think that's a primary focus for all of our national lab systems. The environmental piece that you mentioned in there, that's always at the top of our list as well. What could be the impacts, not only in the developments, but also in the when we bring it to market, when we start to utilize this, what could that have, or what could be the impacts? And then look at the other side of it, the long term. Most of these technologies have an end of life. So what are we going to do with this product?
Where is it going to go? Right?
Where is it going to go? How are we going to dispose, recycle, or reuse it somehow?